Hi, I'm Corey with Crust AI. In this video, we will learn how to set up permissions in multiple items snippets. So setting permissions is very useful when you want to show or hide records based on the identity of who is currently viewing the snippet. This allows you to build snippets that serve as a client portal or any other hub that shows data based on the viewer identity. In the previous video, we learned about multiple items snippets, and we built this example snippet, which is based on a marketing agency Airtable base. So in this snippet, we are presenting the records from the campaigns table, and we already set a filter to present only the campaigns where their status field is set to active. And then we set a sort to set the order from the newest campaign to the oldest. Now, as a reminder, if we look at the Airtable base itself, we'll see that it has two tables. It has campaigns and it has clients. Each record in the campaigns table represents a specific campaign made for a client with fields like their name, status, budget, and performance. Each record in the clients table represents a specific client that can have multiple campaigns. Also, each client has a name and an email. Campaigns are linked to clients using a linked record field, where each campaign holds a reference to the client record it is associated with in the client's table. To demonstrate permissions, let's say that we want to change our current campaign's snippet to show each client only the campaigns that are associated with them, instead of showing them all the campaigns to everyone like it happens right now. For this, we need to set up a user-based permission for the snippet. Now, before we jump into the configuration itself, let's first understand how user-based permissions work inside of Crust AI. So think of user-based permissions as a dynamic filter that matches a user identity to a value in a record field. So the user identity can be anything that you choose to identify the user by. For example, it can be the user's email, it can be their client ID, their phone number, a group ID, or any other value. And we call this the permission value. Then, for each record in our target table, we will need a corresponding field that serves as the permission field and holds that identifier, allowing us to set the filter on the table and bring back only the records that their permission field value matches the current viewer permission value. Okay, so for example, returning to our campaigns snippet example, if we want to show each client only their own campaigns, we will need to set each campaign record to hold an identifier for its client. Luckily, we already have our client field in our campaigns tab, which is associated each campaign with a specific client. We already know that in our clients table, each client has an email field. In this example, let's say that we want to use the client's email as the user identifier. Because the client email cannot be accessed from the campaigns table linked record directly, we would need to bring the client email value into our campaigns table so that we can filter campaigns records based on its value. And this can be done by adding a simple lookup field inside of Airtable, bringing each campaign's client email directly into our campaigns table. After we have added the lookup field, we now have this field named email from the client for each campaign record that holds the email of the client associated with this specific campaign. And once we have our desired permission field in place, we can head over to Crust AI and configure this permission. We'll go ahead and we'll click on the permissions button above the records table, and then we'll choose user-based permissions. Now we'll be asked to choose our permission field. In our case, this is the email from the client field that we have just added. And we'll click the refresh button near the field picker to update our schema with the newly added field. Then we'll choose our email from the client field and then click on apply permission. As you can see, the records table has been updated and it shows us only a single record. We also have a new drop-down selection called View As. The records table on the left will always be a reflection of the data shown in the snippet preview. And the View As option allows us to choose what will be the permission value we would like to preview the snippet with. As you remember, a user-based permission is basically a dynamic filter that compares the user permission value to each record's permission field value, and it returns only the records that both values match. In this case, we are viewing the snippet with the permission value of jamie@example.com, which currently only returns one campaign because there's only one campaign that is associated with Jamie inside of our Airtable base. If we choose the permissions value to be Mary@example.com, we suddenly see 5 campaigns because there are 5 campaigns that are associated with Mary's email address inside of our Airtable base. This allows us to dynamically present records based on the identity of the client who currently views the snippet. So let's try to share this snippet and see what happens. We'll go ahead and we'll click on the Get Shareable URL button in the bottom right-hand corner and open the URL inside of a new tab. As you can see, Crust AI won't let us access the snippet without first submitting our permission value. If we submit jamie@example.com and click on Continue, we can now see our snippet with a single record showing, because as we saw earlier, Jamie only has one campaign. Let's try the same thing with Mary, and we can now see 5 campaigns, which matches what we saw earlier. Finally, let's try to submit an email that doesn't even exist inside of our Airtable base. So we'll enter noone@example.com, and we can now see that the snippet doesn't present any snippet at all as it should do. So using this shareable URL, you can safely share the snippet with all the viewers while letting each viewer submit their own permission value and showing each viewer only the records they're allowed to view. By the way, if you would like to share a direct magic link for a specific viewer, which automatically unlocks the snippet with a predefined permission value, you can simply click on the Copy Direct URL button near the View As drop-down button. For example, if we want a direct URL that pre-fills jamie@example.com as the permission value, we can select it in the drop-down and then click on Copy the Direct URL. And when we open it inside of a new tab, we can see that we are bypassing the Access Required view and presenting Jamie's records directly. And if you look closer at the URL, you can see that the only thing changed in the URL is the P parameter, which stands for permission, and holds the permission value that you would like to pre-fill. Now, this can be very handy for integrating snippets inside of buttons, automations, and emails. In the next video, we'll cover more advanced options of Crust AI, including adding interactive elements in the snippets for updating records, integrating with automations, and implementing navigations between snippets. Thank you for joining me. We are looking forward to seeing what portals you build with your snippets user-based permissions. See you in the next video.